Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, October 7th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's National League wildcard game and look ahead to the ALDS that starts tonight and pick the NLDS series. I'll recap the Wnba Playoff games from last night. We will preview tonight's college football games and Thursday night football game. I will go over the tee times for the Shriners Hospitals for Children Open. And I might give out a pick as well. My NHL right wing rankings, news and notes. We'll recap last night's episode of The Masked Singer and my best bet of the day. All right, we will start with the Major League Baseball playoffs. And we will start with last night's National League wildcard game, which ended in thrilling fashion as the Dodgers won 3-1 over the Cardinals on a 2-run walk-off home run by Chris Taylor as the Dodgers advance to the NLDS to take on the San Francisco Giants. Kelly Jansen gets the win. TJ McFarland the loss. Top of the first, the Cardinals took an early lead on a wild pitch by Max Scherzer. Tommy Edman scored as Paul Goldschmidt went to second, 1-0 Cards. Bottom of the fourth, home run Justin Turner, 1-1. And then bottom of the ninth, Taylor's walk-off. Cody Bellinger scores, 3-1 Dodgers, your final. Max Scherzer wasn't particularly great. 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, and a run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 2.08 for the game. And Adam Wainwright, 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, and a run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. I thought he pitched very well. And then after Scherzer, it was Joe Kelly for 2/3 and a strikeout. Brusdar Graterol for an inning. Blake Shriner for an inning and 2/3 with a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Corey Nebel, third of an inning with a strikeout, and Kelly Jansen, an inning, a hit, 3 strikeouts. And on the other side, Luis Garcia, an inning and 2/3, a hit, a walk, no strikeouts, no earned runs. Giovanni Gleyhouse went an inning, 2 strikeouts. TJ McFarland, 2/3 of an inning, an earned run, and a walk. Obviously, he let the Bellinger hit happen. And then Alex Reyes was the one that gave up the walk-off to Chris Taylor. So, McFarland's charged with the loss. Dodgers we found to take on the Giants. Meanwhile, the season ends for the Cardinals. They, to me, were one of the hottest teams, obviously, coming into the postseason. A lot of people thought that they could have potentially upset the Dodgers, but it wasn't meant to be, and their season ends in disappointing fashion. You gotta wonder if they didn't start off so slow, they would have been right there for the NL Central crown with Milwaukee. And to me, they just got hot to steal that second wild card spot. And I'm not saying that the Cardinals didn't deserve to be here in the postseason. They did. This isn't like the Yankees, who just massively underachieved and got their butts kicked in the wild card game. And maybe even the Red Sox, if my prediction comes true. And instead, Toronto and Seattle really should be instead of the two AL East clubs that played on Tuesday night. But the Cardinals belonged here. They played great baseball down the stretch. They pulled away from some of those other teams. And it's just unfortunate that they had that rocky start to the season, or else they could have probably won their division. I'm not saying that they would have had home field. There were 16 games between them and the Dodgers, but they could have been right there in Milwaukee had not been for that slow start. So, Mike Schilt, I think he's safe. I'd be surprised if he were to get let go. Couple playoff appearances in a row. I think that he's fine. And Dave Roberts, there's still what-ifs with Dave Roberts. If they would have lost this game, those hot seat rumors would have been back. And then they would have been saying, like, oh, World Series, Kevin Cash blew Game 6, or else they lose that series. They came back 3-1 to beat the Braves. I mean, then all the Dave Roberts haters would be back and running at full force. But congrats to the Dodgers, and I'm interested to see what the Cardinals are going to do this offseason to try to improve their team. And I'll make my picks for the NLDS in a moment here. right now I'm just going to go through the odds for tonight's games. 4 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, White Sox, Astros. Probably Kenny Albert and David Cohn and John Morosi on the call. Because I don't think that they would be with the Red Sox and the Rays. Houston's minus 136. The White Sox are plus 116. Over under 7.5. Over is minus 120. Under is minus 102. White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 192. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 158. Lance McCullers, Lance Lynn, the battle of the Lances. I'm taking the Chicago White Sox plus 116 to win Game 1. I picked them to win the series. Lance Lynn was the front runner for the American League Cy Young Award before he got hurt, and he had that bad start against the Yankees in the Field of Dreams games that turned people off. So I'm going to take Chicago plus 116. Lance Lynn's been in a lot of big games in his life, especially with the Cardinals. So I'm going to take Chicago plus 116 in Houston against the Astros. And McCullers has pitched in a lot of big games too. But I just like the dog here. And then 8 o'clock, you have the Red Sox and the Rays. Eduardo Rodriguez and Shane McClanahan. I was right about Rodriguez pitching this game. McClanahan and the Rays are minus 158. Boston's plus 134. Over under 7.5. Over is minus 118. Under is minus 104. Boston plus 1.5 is minus 162. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 134. I'm going to go with the Red Sox. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with the over. I don't know why I just said I'm going with the Red Sox. I predicted this to be a sweep. So I'm going over 7.5 at minus 118. For this game to go over. I think the Red Sox bullpen will give up a couple runs. That unit got very lucky against the Yankees. Stan hit the missile. Judge went home and was tagged out at the plate. Or else that's a 3-2 game, and that game has a different dimension. Although the Yankee bullpen was a mess in the latter half of that game and didn't perform up to standards. So, giving the over 7.5 at minus 118. I won't be flabbergasted if the Rays do this by themselves. And now I'm going to make my picks for the NLDS. I'm going to start with Dodgers-Giants. So, Game 1 looks like it's going to be Walker Buehler. I'm interested to see if we'll see David Price in this series. Say Walker Buehler, Logan Webb, Game 1. Game 2, Julio Urias, Kevin Gausman. Urias was actually warming up in the bullpen last night. That was in case that was going to go to extras. Then you would have seen Urias out of the bullpen, which would have been fun. Game 3 will probably be Max Scherzer. Then Game 4, do they go to Buehler on short rest? Tony Gonsolin, maybe? And San Fran's going Logan Webb. Gausman. Then probably like Alex Wood. And then maybe Webb on short rest. We'll see. But I really think that you'll see Alex Cobb. Maybe you'll see Scott Kazmir potentially. I think that the Giants' bullpen has been marvelous this season. The Dodgers' bullpen came up last night big with Jansen, looking like the Jansen of old, and not the Jansen that tends to choke in big games. Brusdar Graterol is good. Corey Nebel, Blake Treinen, they're all good. And on the flip side, with the Giants, their bullpen will be Jake McGee, Camilo Doval, Tyler Rogers, Harleen Garcia, Dominic Leone, and Jose Alvarez. That's a deep pen. And then another guy for San Francisco that you might see is Johnny Cueto. And don't forget about Anthony DeSclafani either, who will also be in that rotation mix. And then offensively, Brandon Belt and Max Muncy are both missing time in this series, it looks like. I think that's a little bit of a wash. I just think the Dodgers are deep. San Francisco, they have their other guys like Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey, Mike Yastrzemski. Chris Bryant was a big addition for that offense at the trade deadline. And on the Dodgers side, you obviously got Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, Trey Turner, Will Smith, Corey Seager, Chris Taylor, and all the other depth pieces that team has. I just think the Dodgers are better than the Giants. I just think that they're the most talented team in baseball. All due respect to the Giants, I think Gabe Kapler's done a fabulous job this year. He should absolutely be the manager of the year. But I'm going to take the Dodgers to sweep at plus 425. I just think they're so much better. They're going to be favored in every game in this series. And all due respect to San Francisco, it's been a dream season for them. But I don't see how they beat Walker Buehler or Max Scherzer. I just don't. And Max Scherzer will pitch better in the series than he did last night against the Cardinals. So give me Dodgers plus 425. 3-0. And Milwaukee, Atlanta, I think that's going to be a really fun series too. Game 1 will be Charlie Morton and Corbin Burns. Game 2 will be Brandon Woodruff and Max Fried. Game 3, I guess Eric Lauer and, that's a good one. He'll start for Atlanta. Is the question. Ian Anderson, who Oscar Noah will end out the rotation. Then their pen is Will Smith, Luke Jackson, Tyler Matzik, AJ Minter, Jesse Chavez, Rich Rodriguez, Drew Smiley, Chris Martin, Jacob Webb. And on the flip side, I think it would be like Brett Anderson. And then in the pen, obviously, the loss of Devin Williams, I think is going to hurt them. You obviously have Josh Hader. And you have Freddie Peralta to end out the rotation. The rest of the bullpen, Brad Boxberger, Brett Sutter, Hunter Strickland, maybe Adrian Hauser out of the pen, which would be big, Aaron Ashby. But yeah, I think the Williams injury is such a major blow, and I like how the Braves revamped their team. After Ronald Acuna got injured, they bring in Jorge Soler, they bring in Eddie Rosario, they bring in some other guys. They go with Freddie Freeman and Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies. And then Milwaukee, Christian Yelich, to me, if he shows any resemblance of the MVP candidate we've had several years ago, then the Brewers should be fine. I'm worried that Yelich, after signing that big deal, I don't know. Something's wrong there. I don't know if he's hurt or what. But I'm worried about Christian Yelich. And then they have some other guys I like too. William Thomas has been a fine addition. Lorenzo Cain's a good defensive player in the outfield. But yeah, I'm picking Atlanta, and I'm picking them in 5 games. So Braves in 5 plus 550 is the number. I love that pick. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves plus 550 to knock off the Brewers. And then we're going to have a rematch in the NLCS between the Braves and the Dodgers. All right, now I'm going to do WNBA Playoffs, as I will recap the games from last night. Sky over the Sun, 79-69 to advance to the WNBA Finals for the first time since 2014. Courtney Vandersloot, 19 points to lead the way for Chicago, and Jonquel Jones, 25 points, 11 boards for Connecticut. Disappointing finish for Connecticut, losing to a team that was a 500 team in the regular season. Meanwhile, the Sky, hot at the right time. We usually see that team in the WNBA get hot at the right time every once in a blue moon. But here we are, and it's the Sky. You see Allie Quigley and Vandersloot and Candace Parker all in the final. So congratulations to the Chicago Sky. And then the Aces over to Mercury, 893-76, the force of Game 5. Chelsea Gray, 22 points and 6 assists. And for Phoenix, Diana Taurasi, 14 points and 4 assists. All right, now I'm going to preview and predict tonight's 2 college football games that will be played. We'll start off with Coastal Carolina and Arkansas State. I project Coastal by 11, total 71.5. Meanwhile, it is 19.5 and 73. I am going to take Arkansas State getting 19.5 at home. I don't think Arkansas State is really that bad. And Coastal, you think, might be peeking ahead a little bit. Don't they have a big matchup against Appalachian State coming up? Or no, that's Louisiana Lafayette. But still, this feels trappy. I'm not saying Arkansas State's going to win. I just think that they're going to cover down 19.5, and I think this could be like an 11 or a 12-point Coastal win. 2-touchdown Coastal win. 17-point Coastal win. It's a winning bet. And then at 7:30 on ESPN, you have Houston and Tulane. By the way, Coastal Arkansas State's on ESPNU. I project Tulane by 2, total 62.5. Meanwhile, it's Houston by 6.5, total 60. I'm taking Tulane plus the 6.5, minus 115, and plus 190 to win straight up. I can't believe that Houston's this big of a favorite. I think they're judging it based on last week's performance, but I don't think Tulane is this bad. So give me Tulane plus the 6.5 and plus 190 straight up. I think they're going to win the game outright. All right, now I'm going to move on to the NFL, Thursday Night Football. We have the Rams and the Seahawks. This is the best game so far, at least on paper, for Thursday Night Football. I project the Rams by a quarter, total 52-2. And it is Rams by 2.5, total of 54. I'm going to take the Seahawks getting the 2.5. And I'm considering the money line too. But I think that this is going to be a game that comes down to the wire. Seattle at home, the 12th man. I think that all that stuff's a little overrated now, but Seattle in a night game is just different. And this game, I think, could play out similar to the game that we saw, I forgot if it was last year or the year before, where the Rams went into Seattle on a Thursday night and lost because Greg Zuerlein missed a kick. I think that was 2 years ago. But yeah, this is a similar spot, and I believe that in that game, though, Seattle was favored, not the Rams. But the Rams are favored this time around, and I'm taking Seattle plus the 2.5. I don't know about the money line. I'll consider it, but I'm taking Seattle plus 2.5 for the play here for the show. All right, now I'm going to move on to golf, as another tournament has just got on their way. And that tournament is the Shriners Hospitals for Children Open. I'm just going to go through notable tee times and then I'll make a pick. 9:40, Adam Schenk, Aaron Weiss, Dylan McCarthy, Ty McCover, Cam Triangle. 9:51, Matt Wallace, Ian Poulter, Matthew Naismith, Brendan Steele. 10:02, Taylor Gooch, Walter Zalatoris, Brian Harmon, Charles Schwartzel, Pat Perez, Scott Stallings. 10:13, Victor Hovland, Cam Davis, Adam Scott, Nate Taylor, Hideki Matsuyama. 10:24, Sebastian Munoz, Luis Olson, Ryan Palmer, Harry English, Jason Kokrak, Patrick Reed, Sanjay Ims. 10:35, as well as Zach Johnson, Brant Snecker, Kevin Kisner, Dylan Fratelli. 10:46, Siwoo Kim, Patton Kazir, Corey Connors, Stuart Sink, Paul Casey. 10:57, Mark Leishman, Seamus Power. 11:08, JT Potson, Lucas Griffin, Charlie Hoffman, Joaquin Herman. 11:19, Taylor Hogue, Brock Stewart, Chasen Headley. 11:41, Mito Pereira. And in the afternoon session, 2:40, Maverick McNeely, Kyle Stanley. 2:51, J.J. Spawn, Wyndham Clark, Bryce Garnett, Luke List, Emiliano Grillo. 3:02, Henrik Norlander, Mark Hubbard, Sep Straka, Adam Hadwin, Adam Putnam. 3:13, Abraham Anser, Michael Thompson, Matt Jones, Brooks Koepka. 3:24, Richie Wierenski, Joel Dahman, Scotty Scheffler, Webb Simpson. 3:35, Joaquin Neiman, Evan Van Rooyen, Ricky Fowler, Kanghu Lee. 3:46, Caleb Ortiz. 3:57, Keith Mitchell, Ches Ravi, Charles Howell III, Lucas Glover. 4:06, Henry Higgs, Doc Regman, Roger Sloan. 4:19, Sam Ryder, Kevin Strowman, Camilo Vegas, Russell Knox. And that's it really among the notables. And in terms of a pick, I am going to go with Let's go with Jason Kokrak, 44-1. I kind of like that. So, why not go with a longer shot? I was going to go with Brooks, but he's a favorite. And I don't like picking the favorite. So, go Jason Kokrak to win the Trainers Hospitals for Children Open. Okay, now I'm going to do my NHL right wing rankings. Very top heavy position in the league going into this year, in my opinion. So, without further ado, here we go. And there's 127, not 128 on this list, because there's a team that likes to mix and match a little bit and only has 3 projected right wings. 127, Dmitry Jackson, Coyotes. 126, Marian Stunik, Devils. 125, Carter Rowney, Red Wings. 124, Wade Allison, Flyers. 123, Matthew Oliver, Predators. 122, Jansen Harkins, Jets. 121, Logan O'Connor, Avalanche. 120, Tyler Mott, Canucks. 119, Louis Erickson, Coyotes. 118, Ryan Thompson, Blackhawks. 117, Darren Helm, Avalanche. 116, Emil Benstrom, Blue Jackets. 115, Andreas Johnson, Devils. 114, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, Flyers. 113, Frederick Gaudreau, Wild. 112, Ilya Mikheyev, Maple Leafs. 111, Austin Watson, Senators. 110, Ryan Reeves, Rangers. 109, Austin Wagner, Kings. 108, Josh Archibald, Oilers. 107, Chris Wagner, Bruins. 106, Brett Ritchie, Flames. 105, Michael Raffle, Stars. 104, John Leonard, Sharks. 103, Nicholas Roy, Golden Knights. 102, Logan Brown, Blues. 101, Garnet Hathaway, Capitals. 100, Wayne Simmons, Maple Leafs. 99, Colin Blackwell, Kraken. 98, Christian Fisher, Coyotes. 97, Matt Nieto, Sharks. 96, Evan Rodriguez, Penguins. 95, Josh Levo, Hurricanes. 94, Tyler Pitlick, Flames. 93, Nick Cousins, Predators. 92, Trevor Moore, Kings. 91, Kyle Clutterbuck, Islanders. 90, Yegor Chinakhov, Blue Jackets. 89, Brock McGinn, Penguins. 88, Troy Terry, Ducks. 87, Vinny Hinostroza, Sabres. 86, Joel Armia, Canadiens. 85, Zach Cajun, Oilers. 84, Jeff Skinner, Sabres. 83, Pat Maroon, Lightning. 82, Kyle Okposo, Sabres. 81, Sam Gagne, Red Wings. 80, Tage Thompson, Sabres. 79, Alexander Volkov, Ducks. Number 78, Vasily Podkolzin, Canucks. 77, Christian Vesalainen, Jets. 76, Vitaly Kravtsov, Rangers. 75, Evgeny Dadonov, Golden Knights. 74, Alexander Nylander, Blackhawks. 73, Sammy Blais, Rangers. 72, Corey Perry, Lightning. 71, Robert Thomas, Blues. 70, Mason Appleton, Kraken. 69, Rocco Grimaldi, Predators. 68, JT Compher, Avalanche. 67, Jacob Silfverberg, Ducks. 66, Nick Jukstad, Wild. 65, Jesper Fast, Hurricanes. 64, Nick Foligno, Bruins. 63, Tyler Johnson, Blackhawks. 62, Johnny Quackinen, Devils. 61, Philip Zadina, Red Wings. 60, Owen Tippett, Panthers. 59, Jesse Puljuvari, Oilers. 58, Kyler Yamamoto, Oilers. 57, Craig Smith, Bruins. 57 was Craig Smith. 56, Connor Garland, Capitals, or Canucks. 55, Daniel Sprong, Capitals. 54, Dennis Guranov, Stars. 53, Blake Coleman, Flames. 52, Luke Kunin, Predators. 51, Anthony Duclair, Panthers. 50, Riley Smith, Golden Knights. 49, Jesper Bratt, Devils. 48, Jonas Donskoy, Kraken. 47, Connor Brown, Senators. 46, Jason Spezza, Maple Leafs. 45, Josh Anderson, Canadiens. 44, Marcus Foligno, Stars. 43, Tom Wilson, Capitals. 42, Drake Batherson, Senators. 41, Kaapo Kakko, Rangers. 40, Cole Caulfield, Canadiens. 39, Oliver Wahlstrom, Islanders. 38, Kevin LeBlanc, Sharks. 37, Tyler Bertuzzi, Red Wings. 36, Ricard Raquel, Ducks. 35, Kyle Palmieri, Islanders. 34, Victor Avritin, Kings. 33, Jordan Eberle, Kraken. 32, Alexander Radulov, Stars. 31, Brendan Gallagher, Canadiens. 30, Pavel Buchnevich, Blues. 29, TJ Oshie, Capitals. 28, Patrick Laine, Blue Jackets. 27, Dustin Brown, Kings. 26, Phil Kessel, Coyotes. 25, Joe Pavelski, Stars. 24, Matu Garella, Wild. 23, Patrick Hornquist, Panthers. 22, Cam Atkinson, Flyers. 21, Jacob Voracek, Blue Jackets. 20, Josh Bailey, Islanders. 19, Evander Kane, Sharks. 18, Nikolaj Ehlers, Jets. 17, Brian Rust, Penguins. 16, Travis Kelce, Flyers. 15, Martin Nesas, Hurricanes. 14, Kasperi Kapanen, Penguins. 13, Brock Besser, Canucks. 12, Sam Reinhart, Panthers. 11, Teuvo Teravainen, Hurricanes. 10, Matt Tkachuk, Flames. 9, Steven Stamkos, Lightning. 8, Vlad Tarasenko, Blues. 7, Mark Stone, Golden Knights. 6, Blake Wheeler, Jets. 5, Mitch Marner, Maple Leafs. 4, David Pastrnak, Bruins. 3, Mikko Rantanen, Avalanche. 2, Patrick Kane, Blackhawks. And number 1, Nikita Kucherov, Tampa Bay Lightning. Kucherov, Hart Trophy winner a few years ago, and still a points racker, always when he's on the ice. And Tampa needed him back for their playoff run. They got him back, and they repeated as Cup champs. Kucherov's just amazing. Patrick Kane's amazing, too. He just puts up stats, and it's just unfortunate that the Blackhawks are not good anymore. And Rantanen is someone that I think's just gotten better by the year. Pasternak, same thing. Mitch Marner is just, I think, a little underrated because of the other two big stars on the Maple Leafs. Blake Wheeler's just a points factor every year. I feel like he's underrated. Mark Stone is just really putting it all together just because he's on the Golden Knights and not Ottawa, and the change of scenery really helped them. Vlad Tarasenko's not as great as he used to be. Trade rumors abound. And really, it's just been hurt a lot recently. Steven Stamkos, injuries have hurt him, but the move to the wing hasn't hurt him. And then Kachuk really is just amazing too. And some of these other guys on this list are top 10 worthy, like Teravainen and Reinhart, Boser, and Kapanen are guys I think could crack the top 10 with great years. But 4 amazing players had to get left off the top 10, and those 4 happen to be those respective guys. All right, now I'm gonna do news and notes. Not a lot to talk about. Just coming down now is that Baker Mayfield has a partial labrum tear. He will not have surgery as of now in his left shoulder. So that's something to keep an eye on for the Browns. The Packers have signed Jalen Smith after his release from the Cowboys. I think that's a good addition to their defense. He'll help them tremendously. And then they did miss out on Stephon Gilmore as he wanted to join the Packers as he had communication with some of the guys on that team. But he ends up going to the Carolina Panthers in a trade as New England gets a 2023 sixth-round pick back. That is a steal for Carolina. Like, a steal. 6th-round pick? That's it, New England? But good for Carolina as they get themselves a number 1 corner to go with J.C. Horn. The NFLPA head could be on the way out as the union may move to replace longtime leader DeMaurice Smith after a close vote reflecting internal dissatisfaction. So that's something to keep an eye on. Max Scherzer was a very entertaining postgame. Juan Soto was legit at the game as Scherzer runs over to high five Soto after the Dodgers walk-off. That was really fun. And then TBS interviews Scherzer, and Scherzer goes topless. That was crazy. And Max Scherzer is just a joy on and off the field. Kike Hernandez calls out the Yankees as Kike remembered that report that the Yankees wanted to play Boston in the potential tiebreaker. As he goes, careful what you wish for. And that couldn't have been more true after that game. The Yankees were just cocky that they were going to beat Boston. Their fans were cocky that they were going to beat Boston. And no, they lost. And now their season's over. And there's talks about Aaron Boone getting fired, which I think is going to happen, and changes among that roster. And, you got to start remembering things like that. And that motivates players. Like, a good example was the Chargers on Monday night even, as Derek Carr said that SoFi feels like a home game for them. Not so fast. Derek Carr stunk in that game, and the Chargers won convincingly. The Padres fired Jace Tingler, speaking of managers getting fired, as they officially relieve Tingler of his duties after their disappointing 79-83 season. Tingler deserved to get the hook. The Padres are just a dysfunctional mess. Like, that's a dysfunctional franchise. they're the Mets of the NL West, literally. Like, they bring in all these big names, and they just underperform. Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Manny Machado. They have another star player in Fernando Tatis Jr. So we'll see who they end up looking at for managers. So 2 openings right now, Padres and Mets. And then the Yankees, I think, is going to open. I think that some other teams could open as well. Keep an eye on, like, Colorado. I'm surprised that Lovello survived with Arizona. I think Twins could potentially open. Rocco Baldelli, they underachieved. Because they're like the American League version of like that dysfunctional team that tends to overreact to bad seasons. And Theo Epstein won't join the Mets as Steve Cohen had a talk with Epstein and decided that this wasn't the right opportunity for Theo. I think that the Mets are just coming out and saying that. I just think that Theo just didn't want to be there. I saw someone throw out Yankees in case Cashman's let go, but I would keep Brian Cashman if I'm the Yankees. I just think that the owner, Hal Steinbrenner, just isn't his dad. I'm sorry. I know that's the cliche among Yankee fans, but it's true. The only big free agent he really spent big on was Garrett Cole, and he did not live up to that contract this season. And part of that is because of injury. That's understandable. And he's still going to be up for the American League Cy Young this year. That's because the American League pitching is just not good compared to the National League. And I'm interested to see where Theo ends up. So that's something, obviously, to keep an eye on. NFL injury stuff. Christian McCaffrey back at practice after missing last week with a hamstring injury. So if he plays, that changes a lot for that Panthers-Eagles game. I would have to make a big adjustment there. Will Fuller will miss at least the next 3 games with a broken finger. That's unfortunate for the Dolphins. Logan Thomas going on IR as he's out for at least 4 weeks with a hamstring injury, as Jace Sternberger was just signed by the Washington professional football team. Urban Meyer says, I'm not resigning, as he explained not flying back with the team after Thursday Night Football was a chance to clear his head. Justin Fields is now the Bears' official starting quarterback, as he says that Fields will be the starter going forward after he filled in for Dalton. That's great. Good job, Bears. Maybe that'll actually save Matt Nagy's job. And Ryan Pace's job as well. Because if you hit on a quarterback, that saves a bad general manager's job. And if Daniel Jones continues his success this year, then maybe Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge, or more so Gettleman, obviously, because he's the one on the hotter seat, will save his job. And Judge, for that matter, too, because the Giants are like that overreactionary organization now as well. And you always see that in football. Quarterbacks ruin or save jobs. I mean, unless your name is Adam Gase, because he pretty much ruined Sam Darnold. And then last thing on news and notes, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is telling people close to him that he plans to run for governor next year. I don't know how New Yorkers would feel about that. I know New York's a blue state, so they tend to go with the Democratic nominee. But there's a lot of New Yorkers, regardless of political party, that don't like de Blasio. So this is obviously an election that we're going to follow on next year's show. And obviously this year's election season, the ones that I'm closely going to be following is New Jersey governor and New York City mayor. Those are the two biggest ones to keep an eye on, obviously from a local standpoint. Obviously Virginia governor's one as well, but those are the main two here, as this is because we follow closely to the tri-state area more so than most. All right, now I'm going to recap last night's episode of The Masked Singer. It was a fun show last night. Group A back. Plus a wild card. First up was the Bowl. And the theme of last night's episode was partying and party. Bull hints about being a party animal. There's a Carnegie Hall clue. Dancing. There's a scooter. And this person performed Circus by Britney Spears. And his party clue was rap. Like there was like wrapping paper. And that led to speculation of this being a rapper, as I don't think this is a rapper, but the judges' guesses. Jenny said Donald Glover. Robin said Anthony Ramos. Nicole said Leslie Odom Jr. I like Nicole's guess the best. But I don't think it's a rapper. I think that this might be Joe Jonas, because I was getting boy band vibes, Cake by the Ocean vibes, and obviously DNCE, Cake by the Ocean, Joe Jonas. So that's where I come up with that. Hamster, I think, is very interesting. He was a wild card 2 weeks ago, but he's back. There's a tree in there. Hints about living in the city in his 20s and hanging out with his friends a lot, and his friends made him famous. And he's still close with one of those friends today. There's a basset hound in the clue, a water bottle. And this person performed Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen. And his party clue was hydrated with friends, because seems like this person really likes to drink water. Ken Jung said Will Ferrell. Jenny McCarthy said Rob Schneider. And Nicole said Paul Rudd. I have a very interesting guess for this. I think this is a huge star. A famous singer, mostly from the 70s and the 80s. Still famous today. But really peaked in the 70s and 80s. Very lovable guy. This is somebody that became famous and had a lot of friends that got him famous, and someone who has a longtime friend that they're still friends with today. And I think this could very well be Elton John. And Hamster's body is a big body, and Elton John is a heavier set man at this stage in his life. And what makes me suspicious that this could be Elton John is because on social media a couple weeks ago, he announced that he had to postpone a couple of his tour dates in the UK because he had an injury. And that was a couple weeks before the season started, and that got me thinking, oh, that'd be funny if he was on The Masked Singer. But the clues add up here. His voice kind of sounds like somebody who's throwing his voice off. So wait till Hamster sings a slow song, then people might start to agree with me. So I'm going to go with Elton John for the Hamster for right now. Next up was the skunk. The skunk. Pufferfish was in the clue package, so there might be a tie to Tony Braxton. Host with the mostest, Disco Ball. And this person performed Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight. And the party clue was, some states are down for what? And then there was a recorder playing some songs. Ken Jung said Taraji P. Henson. Jenny McCarthy said Queen Latifah. Nicole Scherzinger said Tamar Braxton. That'd be cool to have both Braxtons on the show. But I'm going to stick with my guess from 2 weeks ago, Tina Turner. I think this is somebody that's seasoned. somebody that's older, someone that's a legend. And I just think her singing Gladys is just appropriate. It's getting the Proud Mary vibes, River Deep vibes. So let's go with Tina Turner for the skunk. Next up was the baby. There is a tooth book, a bus, and maybe like hinting on going on a trip. And this contestant saying, Meet the Flintstones by a cartoon band. The party clue was a cooler and said it was the star of the tailgate. Jenny McCarthy said John Travolta and Bruce Willis. Robin Thicke said Rod Stewart and Keith Richards. Ken Jeong said Gordon Ramsay. And my guess, Danny DeVito, because of the personality and because there's a lot of actor clues. And then before commercial, Michael Strahan popped up, and Strahan hinted that he was buddies with the baby. So this has to have been somebody that was close, that is close with Michael Strahan. And then comes out the wild card, the pepper. There's an iPhone, a Hollywood sign, tic-tac-toe, which had them thinking TikTok. And then she posted something that went viral overnight. And this person performed Jealous by Labyrinth. This was an unbelievable performance. I think the best performance of the season so far. And the party clue was roller skates. And the contestant said that she used to ride roller skates before she got her driver's license. Driver's license was a big hit. Robin Thicke said Olivia Rodrigo because of that. And he made the case for Rodrigo. But he didn't feel that it was totally her voice. Ken Jeong said Kesha because of the TikTok clue. Nicole Scherzinger had a good guess of Haley Steinfeld. But I think it's Olivia Rodrigo. This girl is so talented. I thought Olivia Rodrigo as she was performing. And the falsetto reminded me of her falsetto in her hit song Traitor. So I'm going with Rodrigo. And I know she said driver's license, which makes it too obvious. But I know the Masked Singer always says some obvious hints to throw somebody off. Maybe she's not throwing them off. It sounded like Olivia Rodrigo. So I'm going to go with the... I'm kind of with Robin there. And who went home? The baby. My first impression guess was Danny DeVito. Final guess, Danny DeVito. Robin's first and final, Chuck Norris. Nicole's first, Michael Caine. Final, James Carton. Ken Jeong's first, Hugh Jackman. Ken's final, Gordon Ramsay. Jenny's first, Kurt Russell. Final, Bruce Willis. And who was it? Daniel Lawrence Whitney, a.k.a. Larry the Cable Guy. Wow. What a shocker. Larry the Cable Guy. This is somebody that Ken Jeong has guessed for years on the show. This is someone that was speculated for the banana in season 3. And now they got him on the show. This is really a fun one. And Jenny McCarthy was right. She should have had this one. There are so many hints. And obviously, the Arnold Schwarzenegger hint was that he replaced Schwarzenegger in the sequel to Jingle All the Way. So that's where that hint came from. So that's it. Or no, best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. How did I forget best bet? Oh my goodness. Best bet's gonna be Arkansas State getting the points. I just think that game's closed. Conference game, home underdog. I know Tulane's also a dog, but I don't know if they're actually gonna cover or not, let alone win, even though I just picked them to win on the show. But I feel better about Arkansas State covering than Tulane covering and winning. So we'll leave it at that. 1 unit, Arkansas State plus 19.5 against Coastal Carolina. So there you have it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow. Big show, big Friday show tomorrow. Picks for college football and NFL, WNBA playoffs, Major League Baseball playoffs, golf, NASCAR, news and notes, center rankings for the NHL, and best bet. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.